Hello, Leo. Thank you for tuning into your love read. For the main part of the read, we use the Modern Spellcaster's Tarot by Melanie Marquis, illustrated by Scott Murphy. For the supportive oracle cards, I'm going to use the Angel Answers Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. Alright, I already shuffled. You're going to do relationships first, singles second, and the oracle cards come out as needed. Partner. Alright. How many of these we're going to put out here? Alright. Now, seems to be where we're starting. Your partner's going through some changes. Partner is definitely going through some changes here. The world is ending of a cycle, beginning of a new cycle, that type of thing. You have the Eight of Wands. So I'm kind of feeling like this is coming in. I feel like they may have seen it coming. But I feel like you weren't really connected with it. It's going to depend on how you connect with this energy. But basically, this change is happening for them. And you're supporting, but your support comes in quickly. I don't know if they saw this change coming and they weren't talking about it that much, or when they did tell you about this change, they just didn't emphasize it enough to really make it have an impact. For whatever reason, I'm seeing this change is happening. They're going through this change, life cycle change. And as it starts happening, that's when you come in and you get involved. And you're helping your partner. There's a lot of involvement on your side, but not until it actually starts is what I'm getting. Now, your partner's having a hard time with this change. I'm getting the Five of Wands, which is conflict. I'm also getting help from others here. Now, so they're getting help from others, but I'm wondering if this is like... The first impression I got was like an elderly parent, and there's a change in that respect. Something in that relationship has changed. Something where your partner has to take care of something, and it's changing their lives. Like whatever's going on with the parent, if that's how it's hitting, it's definitely a change. Like, I don't know if they're going in a nursing home or they've passed away or something, but it's very hard to go into this new change, and other people are involved with it. There are other aspects here this could be hitting, like a job change, laid off, or possibly moving, possibly more. There's definitely a life change here, but I'm getting it's either work or it's kind of like a parent thing. That's the strongest it's hitting. It is a general read, so this can hit other things, but that's the strongest connection I'm getting right now. And it's causing a lot, like, if it's the parent thing, there's a lot of, like, other influences here. Other people have other ideas about what should happen, and it's causing some conflict. But I just feel like it's just conflict in the sense of, like, people having differences of opinion. I don't feel like it's, like, knockdown, drag-out fights. I just feel like it's conflict, just differences of opinion. And I don't feel like these opinions are coming together as easily at first. But it might happen better later. I do see on your side, whatever the situation is, and I'm getting like work or that situation. Knight of Cups, you have some type of influence here. So whatever arena it is that your partner's having problems with, that they're going through this life change, you seem to have some type of influence here. And I feel like, even if it's the work thing, you've met some of the people your partner works with, or somehow you're involved with that in enough, close enough to make some type of impact. Even if it's just to the point where you've gone to maybe holiday parties or social events, or some people in common, however that is, enough to get in contact with these other people, find out what's happening, and get involved enough so you can help steer the ship and help make this easier on your partner. Because I'm getting this Knight of Cups involved with this situation. The Knight of Cups is looking to protect the person he loves, he or she. Gender doesn't matter here, but the Knight is getting involved. Getting in there, protecting the person that the Knight loves, trying to do everything that the Knight can to make this situation smoother, trying to steer it a little bit is what I'm getting to, where possible. I mean, there's only so much you can do, but still. Especially if it's the family route, like definitely getting involved, talking things. But with the Knight of Cups, this is a very caring, like getting involved. It's not combative because there's enough combative energy in there already. It's more about working it out and trying to speak to your partner's benefit, trying to help everybody to work out, because I feel like you're looking at it in a broader spectrum, not only to help your partner out, but like what else would your partner want to happen for other people. Like it's looking out for everybody else, but through your partner's eyes, I'd like to say. Okay. Now, whatever the situation is, the Seven of Wands comes in, I'm noticing. But I'm feeling like the reason the Seven of Wands comes up on your partner's side, this is overcoming difficulties, this is overcoming those problems. I feel like, to me, this is like getting to that top of the mountain. Still got to go down the other side, but the worst is over. Feeling accomplished and, ready to finish it off, but feeling like the worst is behind you and feeling like you've overcome that in a positive way. I am noticing, though, that I think that you are the reason that your partner feels this way. Because I got the Four of Wands and I got the King of Wands here. And then the last card trumping it is to listen to your intuition. These are all on your side, all three of these cards. Especially with the listen to your intuition, I'm feeling like you really pushed forward, you got involved, you influenced where you could, you're strengthening your partner, and I feel like you're actually even talking to your partner. You got your partner in a state of mind to where if there was things that weren't going to happen or weren't going to work out, you pointed them out, you pushed it in a different direction that would work out for them or best it could, and you helped make that happen. You brought a more realistic view to the situation, because I'm feeling like something wasn't right here with this conflict, and you knew it wasn't going to work out totally the way your partner wanted to. So you kind of reimagined it, reviewed it yourself, pushed it forward a different way, a way that you thought would be beneficial to your partner. You got that agreement. I feel like they were overwhelmed a little bit anyway. So they kind of went along with what you were saying because you did have their best interest at heart. And I feel like that's one of the reasons that it went kind of smoothly in that part, because even if they didn't originally want it the way you're pushing forward, or did push it forward, I should say, they had no question that you were looking out for them. They had no question at all. So even if it wasn't originally how they wanted it to work out, they trust that you kind of know what's going on and you're doing the best you can to look at the situation from an outside view or from a broader perspective to help them find a more happier resolution. So I feel like you pushed forth something different than what they originally wanted, and they just didn't question it because they know you love them and they don't question that at all. So if you said it had to go a different way, then it has to go a different way, and they just got on board with it. But my point is, your influence, especially in that realm, pushing this forward a little differently, I feel like that kind of squelched the conflict that was going on here, and it helped you get your partner to this part where they're kind of at the pinnacle of the mountain. Worst is behind us. Pretty much everything that was a challenge is taken care of. Now we just gotta get back down the other side of the mountain, which is a lot easier than going up the mountain. And that seems to be what's left here. Now, I don't want to Now I see. Is this the transition? Yes or no? This is after. This is after. All right. So let's keep going, because I'm seeing something over here. Um, I'm noticing the moon with the yes and exclamation with your partner side. I don't feel like they're thinking about the situation too closely. When I get the moon with the yes and the exclamation, they're going along with it wholeheartedly. They're not thinking about things too deeply. They're just agreeing. I feel like they're really just kind of agreeing. That moon card makes me nervous only because I feel like they're just kind of a little worn out. So they're just stepping back and just letting things happen on autopilot in a sense. I kind of feel like that's what's going on with the moon. They're not really seeing what's actually happening. It's kind of going through it on autopilot and feeling very confident with that. Now, this is good. I feel like we're going to go with your partner again here. Queen of Wands, big happy changes. This is their spiritual spot. There's a lot of love here, a lot of action going on. I feel like the Queen of Wands is like explaining how your influence is impacting them. It's inspiring. It's keeping them going. The love is very strong here, but I feel like I'm kind of getting this is connected with the autopilot thing. They're just kind of moving forward, getting things done, one foot in front of the other. They just keep going, and there's changes happening here. There's nothing that can stop that. If this reading is hitting, there's no option for stopping this change. It has to happen. It's gonna happen. You can even stand there and hold your breath, but you're just gonna have to run and catch up to the train after, because the train is still gonna keep going. There's no avoiding that. So I feel in the spiritual spot, the reason we got big happy changes and the Queen of Wands, they know this is changing. They see it going a better direction, and they're going on autopilot. I feel like they're going through your advice. So they trust that. They do trust that. And I do see this Page of Wands on your side. They're very favorable. They're very thankful. And I feel like that's coming through in a few different ways. And I feel like you're feeling really good about that, as you should. That's good. That is very good. I think we skipped this, but... No, this is going to... Okay. You're listening, and you're liking what you're hearing, but I'm getting you might have to stay involved here. I don't feel like that's probably out of line anyway. I think you probably would. You're going to have to keep an ear open. Page of Wands. The wands are usually fire, but this one comes through as air with all the birds and the guy with the way he's posing there. Spiritually, I feel like you have your antenna up. You're listening. You're paying attention. I feel like you might have to get involved again. The look for a sign seems to... All the three of these cards seem to go together. Like paying attention, listening to what's going on, like trying to see like I feel like it's maybe a pitfall coming your way. And getting involved, because you got that knight, you got another knight, you got the Knight of Swords this time. I feel like this is more communication than action. This deck flips. Anyway, I do feel like it's more communication in this situation. Staying involved. Because the end result for you is the Sun card. Like, you're getting involved, you're keeping things under control. I feel like your involvement is very necessary to bring this Sun card at the end. Because this is you moving into the better part of this situation. You're feeling very content and happy, looking at the situation like it's the best outcome that was possible. I'm getting you have a very realistic view of the situation. You love your partner, and you've changed things where necessary. I feel like they had a little bit of unrealistic expectation. You edited that, fixed it, moved it around, moved things forward. Like, I feel like you have a very realistic view. You love your partner, unquestionably. I don't have any question about that. But what they wanted may have been a little bit, out of focus, and you focused it. You saw the broader picture, and you just moved it forward. That's making things easier for you, for your partner, for everybody else in the situation. So you're at this moment. Now, I see this is where you're at. The thing is, whatever this change is, the world change, that's hard for your partner. And I feel like as you're helping, it's almost like they're going on pause with their emotions, and they're not really sorting through how they feel about it. Not completely. Like, you might see little pieces here or there where they're upset, but it's not coming through fully is what I'm getting. And at the end here, they have the Tower, with the it's up to you. And I'm feeling like the Tower is saying that's acknowledging the loss of the last situation, because I don't feel like they wanted this last situation to move forward. I feel like they wanted to like kind of drag it out as long as they could, but because it had to move forward and it did, especially with your influence, they just kind of put their emotions on pause and just kind of went through and did what they had to do, especially with this Queen of Wands. I feel like they just kind of accepted that it had to go forward and it just kept moving. One of those things where if you just keep moving, you don't think about something, so it doesn't hurt you. But what makes things better is they're saying the Tower needs to hit. And it's up to them, like, when they do this, because it's either going to be they kind of sit down and let it kind of decompress and they have the moment. And not that there'll just be one moment, but if they choose to go forward with it, it's going to be easier than the Tower. The Tower is going to fall down either way. If they don't choose to go through it, it will come to the surface anyway at some other time. It just may not be at the most opportune time. Small little breakdowns here or there, or just it's gonna pop out when they're not expecting it. Going through it and sorting it through, like I basically see when you're at this moment where you're feeling really good and everything's okay, getting them to talk about it, getting them to deal with it, however that is, because I feel like there's like an upset breakdown type feeling, not like devastated, can't get back up, can't breathe, but just kind of gotta get those emotions out, get them up and deal with them, and just let the feelings come out so it's not held down and just like waiting. Because I feel like from the beginning of this actual moment where it just started happening, you got in there, helped them, and they put their emotions on pause. But it's paused. It has to come out. The sooner it comes out, the better, because it'll start dealing, it'll start moving on. This part where the sadness of whatever was lost. But I feel like the whole warning here is if it's not chosen, like if your partner doesn't choose to talk about and let things vent out, it will come out on its own, maybe at the most inopportune time, but it will have its day. I feel like I'm talking a lot about that one little card. I think I'm just trying to make the point. If they choose to do it when they want to, it may not be comfortable. I don't think they're going to like it, but at least they'll have like the security to be around who they want to be around when it happens. Otherwise, it could be just a moment, strikes them funny, and all of a sudden, the emotion comes up. It will come out. I'm getting warned here. It will come up one way or another, though. You're doing really good. So I feel like you're going to be in a spot where you can easily handle this and help them through that. I don't feel like it's like upsetting for you at all. I feel like you're I'm getting a more realistic view again for you. You're like, you know what? That makes sense to me. It's going to have to come up. It has to defrost. It has to come out. So I feel like you're going to be in a strong spot where you're like, you know what? If you need to freak out, freak right out. I can handle it. I'm here for you. Like, I feel like that's where you're standing. I'm getting a lot of strength on your side, a lot of, like, bigger picture view, ready to handle it. All right. I feel like we're good with that. All right. I just want to make sure I give enough respect to this. It's up to you with them, with that Tower card, because they can try to push it to the side, and they'll be mildly successful until all of a sudden the emotion will just be like, nope, we're going to have this moment, and it just kind of happens. Usually just something triggers it, from what I understand. But I'm also kind of getting warned that that's probably not just a one-time thing. Especially if it's pushed down and ignored, it's going to pop out, multiple times in pieces. If it's chosen to come out, I feel like a big piece of the stress will be relieved. There'll be more control. But I don't know if it'll be just a one-time thing. They might have to talk about it 3 or 4 times before it's finally finished. But there'll be a lot more control. And the first time will probably be the worst time. And it should be easier after that. There's no guarantee because everybody grieves differently. But that's what I'm getting with that. I'm talking a lot about that one spot. I feel like that's concerning. I guess it seems like that's the biggest point of that whole segment. Let's do Leo singles. Leo singles. Messages for Leo singles, empowering information to help them make choices as they would like to make, to help them see what's coming towards them so they can be ready for it, to help them move their life in the way they want to. Single Leos. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Single Leos. I'm starting off before I even show you these cards. You have your thoughts, you have your ideas about where you want to go. Wait, stop. Alright. There's somebody. You got the Ace of Wands in your thought. You know what you want to do. And you want to start a relationship with somebody. I feel like if this reading's hitting for you, even though you're single, you're dating somebody or you have your eye on somebody that you would like to be in a relationship with. Okay. I'm noticing where you're standing is the Moon card, though. I'm feeling like this isn't really at a point. I'm feeling like you're not seeing this person for who they are yet. I'm getting a very uplifting, loving view of this person, but I don't feel like you're really seeing the good, the bad, and the ugly with this person just yet. I feel like you're just seeing all the good, and you're just thinking they're, pretty wonderful. What's going on? There's something else with the Moon card here, because I feel like something else is happening. False expectations. False expectations. I'm not sure exactly where that's going to hit, but let's keep that as a thought and keep going. I'm sure it'll hit later. False expectations. I'm noticing in the environment you have the Nine of Cups for the other person. You're like, no. You have a lot of possibilities. So that seems to be connecting. I don't question that at all. What are we talking about with this? You definitely know who you want to be in a relationship with, but I feel like you're not limited to one option. You're just, one of them just seems like there's something there. But do they know it? Are you not really pushing forward to that person how much you're really interested in them? False expectations. Now, is this because you're not really pushing forward to the other person how you feel, but you're expecting them to realize, how you're treating them, how you feel? Because I feel like maybe you're being very nice to them and you're very, very, you're involved with them, and you're expecting they're going to catch on to it. But I don't feel like you're coming forward with exactly how you feel. But the thing is, Ace of Wands in your thoughts, you definitely know you want to try that with them. There's one person in particular who is really pulling your heartstrings, and you're like, this could be great. It may be a very physical attraction, and that might be one of the reasons you're kind of like, well, I almost feel like you're sparring them, and you're trying to get them to ignite back and show you how much they are interested. That's what you're waiting for. If this is connecting with you, I'm kind of feeling that's where this is going with the Moon card. Which I understand that. Like, you're showing interest, you know who you want, you're waiting for them to show interest back before you start pushing anything forward. That makes sense to me. Now, I'm looking here in the past, and I'm feeling like this is being affected in the sense of the Eight of Cups. I feel like maybe you weren't so sure in the past, or what was it? I feel like you weren't so sure in the past. I'm wondering if they came towards you a little stronger in the past, and you kind of shied away. Because that's kind of what it feels like here. Like, you didn't really know what to do with their information or how they were coming towards you. You weren't really sure if that's what you wanted. And they came towards you, and you're like, yeah, that's nice, but I don't know. And I feel like you just kind of shied away. Not like you just turned face and walked away. Just kind of like, okay, that's nice, thank you. And then you just kind of, distanced yourself a little bit emotionally. Now that might be setting up where you are right now. Probably is, actually, the way these readings go, now that I think of it. Because I'm seeing the Knight of Pentacles at the base here, I'm feeling like both sides are a little confused about what the other side wants. I feel like the person you're like, I feel like they have this misrepresentation of you in the sense of like they don't think you're really interested. They think you're just a really good person, you're a really good friend. I feel like it's like they think they're in the friend zone, so they're not pushing the issue. They think you're okay being friends, but you're not interested in more. That's kind of what I'm getting here. And then I feel like on the other side, you're waiting for them to show a little more interest before you actually say what you want because you're not really sure how interested they are. And I feel like part of the reason you don't know that is because when you shied away, they took that as if you weren't interested in a relationship. Like, as friends was as far as it was going to go. So they're respecting that, and they're pulling back. So I feel like both sides are a little discontent because one side wants to go forward. I feel like both sides would actually like to go forward a little more, but each side thinks the other isn't really all that interested because of like how they're perceiving each other. The other side thinks that because you shied away, you were that was a no, friends only. They're respecting that, and on your side, you're kind of showing them more attention. You're not telling them flat out how you feel, but you want them to show you more interest before you move forward. So you're kind of discontent, thinking, well, they don't really like me that much if they're not showing me back how much they want to be with me. So I feel like there's a miscommunication causing discontent on both sides here. Now, where are we going? This is my question. I do see the Queen of Wands here. I see the Queen of Wands as a very loving, active person. Somebody who cares for other people, but she typically, when she has a thought or when she sees somebody has a need, she just gets up and takes care of it. This is a person who, somebody fell and she just gets right up and picks them up. She just goes right to them and picks them up. Someone's two of her kids are arguing. She gets right up and walks over there and says, "What's the problem?" And she makes them work it out. She doesn't sit. She doesn't wait. She's just like, "We're gonna act on this now. I'm not waiting for this to become a bigger problem. I'm gonna handle it now." Why are we getting that way? Because I feel like the two of you are actually active with each other, hanging out with or I don't know. You're around each other and you're talking, and there's like you're showing how you care, but I don't feel like the other person is getting it. The other person is just thinking you're a really good friend. I really think that's what's happening here. They're just thinking you're a really good person and that you treat your friends really well. They're not getting that you want more from this. I really feel they're not getting it. But I'm also getting here that at some point there's a conversation and each of you talks about how you actually feel. And I don't feel like it's an easy conversation because I'm seeing strength behind this card. Like, I feel like each of you has to like get into a little bit of a nervous moment where you're putting yourself in a vulnerable state. Like, all right, I like you, but you might not like me, but I just gotta tell you how I feel. You might not see me in the romantic sense, but I'm seeing you in that, and I just want to talk this out just to make sure that there's nothing there before I just, walk away from this possibility because I would like to be with you type thing. I don't know how the conversation's starting, I'll be honest with you, especially with the general read, but I'm getting like the way that things are going, like you are getting closer with this person. The two of you are getting closer. And at some point, I'm feeling like one of you gets really uncomfortable, like you're really investing and you can't afford to be this close and not have this go forward because it's going to cause you problems. Like if this isn't going to happen, you need to step away from it because it's becoming what you want and you're not allowing other possibilities in because you're starting to want this more. It's kind of blocking things because you're not giving other things a chance. So there's a conversation here, and the strength card behind it tells me that I feel like you're both leaving yourselves a little vulnerable, but you're standing and you're telling the truth because you want to know if there really is no chance here. You want to know how the other person feels, and I'm feeling like you have a little bit more strength coming through in the sense of like you might be the one pushing this forward. Just like, let's just put it out there. This is how I feel. How do you feel? Because I think this could be a good thing if we go forward and they start seeing each other exclusively. So this happens. Okay, this happens. And I feel like this is in relation to the or the Nine of Pentacles at the bottom. Like, both sides are a little discontent. They'd like more, but thinking it's not possible. But one of you, more than likely you, pushes forward this conversation because it's just like, what if this is just not, what if this is just not a good idea because I don't want to get myself heart locked in somebody that I can't have. So the conversation is had just to make sure each side knows where the other is standing. I don't know, I just feel like it comes forward, like you just got to know how the other person feels. You just don't want to be left in limbo. You don't want to make up your own mind based on what you see. You want to hear what the other person has to say. You just want to be sure there's nothing here before you walk away from it, because you're considering walking away from it. Even though it's hard for you to do that, you're realizing that you're getting caught up in somebody, and if you can't have this person, it's not going to be good for you in the long run. All right. So that conversation happens. It seems like it's difficult. I'm getting a bit of earth energy. There's only two, the bottom one here, three technically, but there's two strong earth cards I'm feeling here. The overall energy is the Ace of Pentacles, and it's got the in the near future. So I feel like this conversation, that's going to start a relationship. I feel like that will work. I do feel also, though, that there's a very slow build to this. Very deep, very strong, but very slow. At the very least, you're going to view it as slow is what I'm getting. And it's going to start in the near future. I feel like the near future, it's not. It's telling me that, like, this is where you're heading. The near future says you're heading towards this very strong, dependable relationship. And the longer it goes, the stronger it gets, the deeper it gets. And it just keeps going that way. I'm also getting, within the next few weeks, is this card with the Queen of Swords. I feel like, now, how is this coming through? I feel like the slowness has you questioning. The slowness has you questioning. It's a dependable build. It's a good thing. But after a few weeks of it going slowly, even though it's progressing, I feel like you might be questioning if it's really progressing or not. I feel like to you, okay, here we go. I feel like you feel it's just maybe not actually growing. Like it's not actually getting, like it's so slow you're just like thinking it's, it's by the time I'm 50, maybe it'll be a good relationship. But like, I feel like you're looking at it like this is going really slow. And I just feel like you're a little discontent with that, because to you it's like it's going slow to the part to you that it feels like it's stagnant. Even though there is growth here, it is getting better, it is getting stronger and deeper. I feel like you're not seeing it, at least not to the degree you'd like to. That it doesn't seem like it's really, like emotionally, it's not hitting right for you. You're thinking it should be a lot more than this right now. This is in the future, excuse me. Now, I got in the future after this the Queen of Pentacles. This is the other major Pentacle card. The Queen, the Court card usually, Queen, King especially, the Ace, they're also major cards in my opinion, along with the Arcana, in the sense of like they have a lot of strength behind them. There's a lot of energy behind them, a lot of specific things. And with her, the relationship is still going. The love is there, it's very acknowledged. I just feel like it's a little more tame than you would want. I feel like it's been outlined, it's been defined, it's going forward according to plan, but I still feel like I'm feeling like you'd like a little bit more excitement with it. The thing is, it is a good, dependable relationship. That's the thing. And I'm feeling like this is also talking about the past, where the other person thought you weren't interested and they respected how you came off. Like they interpreted you as not having interest, so they respected that and held back afterwards. But I'm getting that respect and that level of movement, that mode of movement, if you will. That's mirrored in the future. Like this is how this person is. They do what they say. They get their mind set on something and they stick with it. They keep in that direction. They're very dependable, very strong, very loving. They build with time. The deeper they get, the stronger they get. The passion builds over time. It's good. It's very good. I just feel like it might not be something you're used to, or it just might feel a little contrary to the way you move. Because I feel like you would like to move a lot faster, and and they're just not comfortable moving fast. I feel like when the Ask Your Angels comes in here, when I've seen, because it feels like an earth-fire combination, to tell you the truth. And when I've seen this before, I've seen other people work this out where there's certain things that have to be stable and slow. the other whichever one is more of the stable, slow energy, they're not going to be able to move forward quickly in certain things. It's just going to become more of a heartache, headache, painful thing. Certain things, almost like usually it's like finances, moving, which is connected to finances usually, like where you live, the money, things like that, building a family, engagements, things like that are very long term, that are very cementing and life changing. Money especially, because it's a very growth, stability thing. Like things like that have to be a certain way. They have to be very stable. They have to be controlled a certain way. Other things like day trips. What else do we want to say? Little thing like if there's like a little spending pot. How do I put this? Like little spending quickly, or little like $20-$50 here and there every now and then isn't a problem. I don't know why we're going into money again, but like anything above that, like they get a little uncomfortable with. It's kind of like moving within the system, like the things that are stable and can't be moved, like the finances, being okay with that, but then finding a way for you to move in and like get in your spontaneity with like day trips, or like maybe I want to say like painting a house or stuff like that, but I know that like that becomes an issue too. I'm trying to think of how this would fit in there, because Earth is very stable and dedicated, and they have a certain way they like things done, and they're very slow moving. So when that fire comes in, like hanging out with friends sometimes, I don't know, it's hard to find a way to fit that in, because I'm trying to right now, and I know I've done it before in the past, but it's not hitting that well, and maybe because it's a general read, it's hard to say how that's going to match up. But you have to find a way to match in, like, what do they have to keep stable in a certain way, and what can you get in there and be a little bit more spontaneous with. I don't know, day trips is the only thing that's popping into my head, and I don't know why. It seems like there should be something else. But I even feel like decorating or moving things around in the home, that can be upsetting to a person of Earth energy if you're living together, because they get used to things being in a certain spot, looking a certain way, and then if you switch that up, that can put them in a really bad mood for that could put them in a bad mood for as long as things aren't the way they're comfortable with, especially if they keeps changing. That can make them extremely cranky, and it could hold on for a while. So if that keeps changing up, that could be a problem. But there has to be ways that you can work it in too, and be spontaneous and happy. Sorry, I'm trying to find something else besides day trips, but I feel like the Earth energy I'm feeling here anyway, I feel like that's hard to add in spontaneity. I feel like the Earth energy I'm feeling doesn't really like that so much. But I feel like that's part of who you are if this is connecting. So you're finding a way to express that you're happy with, that you're both kind of comfortable with, that might be a challenge. So the Ask Your Angels comes in, you might have to like mull it over and think about it a couple times to try to find, or just try different ways to express how you feel. If you can find a way to do that, I feel like the slow movement can be okay. But I feel like I have to be honest here, I'm getting to this part, and I feel like you're going to evaluate like if you're happy with how this is going, and if this is something you want to stay in. Because I'm getting it might be a little bit more difficult than I'm connecting. And at this point, it's in your court. Do you want to keep this or do you not? The love is there, but the way that the relationship is going, is that going to work out for you? I feel like that's where you are at this point. Okay. I feel like that was probably the whole message. I was trying to find a way for you guys to work it out. But I think the point is you have to like mull it over yourself. Is there a way to work it out, or is this just not going to work for you long term? Okay. All right, so I'm going to wrap that up there. Thank you for watching. Of course, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, james4astral@gmail.com. James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.